What is going on, everyone? Welcome to round two AFLW Game Day Squad show, brought to you by GameDay Society and Fantasy Fanatics. I'm Mark, and I'm joined by Bales again. Bales, how you been?
Yeah, good, mate. It's a weird week because it's the final week of the men's comp. So it's like, and then next week will be freed up with the AFLW stuff. So it is been an interesting week, but yeah, going well, and looking forward to chatting some AFLW fantasy with you, mate.
Yeah, no, very good. How'd you go last week?
Yeah, not too bad. Had a solid enough start. So what was it? Starter, we scored the 1984, so seventh for the week and seventh overall, which is nice. Classic fifth with a 24-32. That was nice there. Then put a squad for Challenger and Champion as well. So 15th in Challenger with a 24-52. The same exact score. There you go. And then 21-10 in Champion, so 18th. So I don't have as many good cards in Champion, but Challenger and Classics where I'm trying to put a lot of my eggs in the basket. So yeah, solid start, mate. How about yourself?
Yeah, not too bad. I don't have the exact positions in front of me, but it was kind of hovering around that top 10, 20 mark, which I'm pretty happy with considering I faded both Malloy and Goldsworthy. So to be still up there without those two, I think I'm pretty happy with.
Yeah, they both were pretty good, and I'm sure we'll chat about them for this week. But they were
Yeah.
pretty impressive.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's just get straight into it. We'll not focus too much on what was and look at the next round. So, well, actually, I say that. We'll start off by having a quick talk about what we learned from last round. I've just got a few points here, which I figure are probably talking points for a lot of people. The first one, obviously, the ruck dilemma, which I think I've seen on Twitter. I think you're quite vocal about with the rule changes and things like that, how it's affecting the scoring. Do you want to run everyone through what's been happening and how it's been affecting?
Oh, it's just the holding the ball rule is sort of the main one there that they're paying a pretty. And the thing that I guess annoyed not only me but a lot of people just generally watching AFLW was that a player would pick up a ball and they'd get tackled and they'd get pinged holding the ball straight away, which I don't think is good. I know what they're trying to do, but what is it that what they were trying to do was in the right sort of what they were thinking, but the execution was completely off. Right? It's just
Yeah.
they're paying free kicks for nothing. That was it. The North Melbourne Geelong game was the worst one I'd seen of all of them, and it was ridiculous the amount of holding the ball free kicks they either missed or didn't pay. So I'm hoping that sort of fix up. But obviously the low stoppages was the big thing there. Obviously the rucks, none of them really scored well. I know Mimstrom still had a pretty good day, still tonned up. But she's obviously completely different to every other ruck, right? She lost that battle by about 10 or so to Matilda Schultz, but she still tonned up because she can just really fill the stat
She
line.
didn't get the ball, yeah.
Yes, that was the big thing for me with the ruck. So maybe you were not spending the ruck salary as much as what we were maybe thinking. Maybe Mimstrom could be the one you still put a bit of salary on, but maybe we're trying to save it there and putting it more into those defenders and those midfielders.
No, 100%. And it's also kind of affecting the tackles I found as well. So those midfielders who are big on the tackles, there's kind of less kind of ball up contention. So I think the tackle number, I haven't seen the exact numbers, but I'm sure they would have dropped.
Yeah. Well, Mel pretty much exactly said what I was trying to say. Good in theory, poor execution. I was trying to think of what was the starting bit, but yes, that's exactly right. So hopefully it's better this week.
And hopefully, because it's not actual rule changes, it's just interpretation changes, they can kind of fade it a little bit and kind of find a nice middle ground.
Yeah, exactly.
But moving on, so obviously with Bree Davey out, we were all kind of wondering who would step up for that Collingwood midfield. It looks like Benici definitely stepped up. I think she was top scorer for the round in Game Day squad. Do you think she's someone that could be a genuine option to consider, or was it just a one-off, in your opinion?
I don't think it's quite a one-off, but I don't quite think she's going to make it into my squad just yet. I just think that midfield is. I feel like I don't want to overreact too much with the scoring from week one. Is that so you look at Ash Riddell and Laura Gardner, who didn't have as big a score as probably what we thought they might have, But moving
Mhm.
forward, I think they'll be better. I think that this transition game is going to help them a lot more with the low stoppages. We saw
Yep.
Jazz Garner continue where she left off and had a massive score. We saw Ebony Marinoff was okay as well, probably not as big as what she has done in the past, but
Yeah.
Bonici's certainly someone that's in the mix. But yeah, something to look at moving forward, at least for Collingwood.
Yeah, I agree. I tend to jump on those kind of things, and then I always regret it. So I'm going to stay away from this one. Next thing we learned was Goldsworthy and Malloy. I think they're locks. We were obviously
Yep.
waiting on Malloy to see how it should go. I think she looks fine. Goldsworthy, obviously, with the injury to Parker, I think bumps her midfield minutes right up and makes her a must start now.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. And too good, concerning. I just have there. I don't know how concerned I am is the problem because low score, but also low time on ground. So can you drop her? I don't know if I
No,
can.
no, I'm still fine. She played low time on ground. She had I think a HIA in, I believe, the third quarter that took out
Yeah.
essentially a whole quarter, right? And forwards, we know that they can have these sort of 50, 60 scores, but then they could pop up for these 90s and everything. And Bonnie Too Good is still one of those players I think can still get it done. And that game was a little bit strange. A few lower scores from players I think we probably had a bit more hope for. So I think that moving forward, I think she'll be fine. But if we see another score or two of this manner, then maybe it could be a little bit concerning. But I do like the last dot point on
Yeah.
your list there. I think that it's Zippy Fish. What a game! What a start! I think equaled the disposal record on debut. I'd like
Yeah.
if you don't have a Zippy Fish in your club, try and get some
Mm-hmm.
because Dynasty asset is like top couple already after seeing one game. Took all the kick-ins, like just off half back. Looked fantastic in her first game. But even like it's pretty good for obviously just AFLW in general, right? Like Accentra only didn't have much of it, but obviously she's created a lot of buzz with the Centra bounces they're calling it now between
Yeah.
the legs. She looked great, even in the limited sort of time she played and the limited
Yeah.
touches she had. Havana Harris looked great on the Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
We saw good signs like a Poppy Schultz as well on the Thursday as well. Like there's and Thursday night for Havana Harris as well. But like there were so many good rookies that played well. Even Jess Wrench, who's been on the list for a little bit longer, had a really good game in the mid. So I think good signs for these rookies in the AFLW and moving
Yeah.
forward for the competition.
100%. So let's just jump into the upcoming games. So we don't have any AFLW till Saturday, but the first game is Collingwood versus GWS. I think we've covered the first point there, whether Benici is a genuine option. I think we agree she's probably not, but something to keep an eye on. But yeah,
I think
Goldsworth.
in this matchup though, she could be Giants could be all right for her. So if you want to take the pod, well, I guess she might not be a pod, right? Because she's going to be up sort of when people sort by averages. I guess that's the
Yeah,
what are your thoughts with that? Are people going to maybe get caught out with some picks because of they'll see like a big score and they'll go, I'll pick them in my side.
yeah, potentially. I think it was on one of the episodes with the Stat Lab, the preseason ones I did. We talked about Benici, and it looks like the numbers didn't favour her when Davey didn't play. So it looks like she scored about the same, if not worse, when Davey was out. So back then, we decided that it wasn't going to be a good option. I still don't think it's probably that good an option, but who knows?
Something to keep an eye on.
I
Yeah.
was, yeah, I was wrong about all my other calls last week, so might be a good call. Yeah, Goldsworthy, I assume. Did you play her last week? I assume you did.
Yeah. Had Goldsworthy in just for, I guess, the safety in numbers and just in case she popped a big score. And obviously, an injury was a sort of little bit of a reason why her score was pretty good. So I think, as you mentioned before, I think her and Malloy become fairly good, like locks for the year. You'd probably say. I don't think we're probably going to take him out just with the forwards. So I think that Goldsworthy's a lock and load.
Cool. Anyone else in this game that you're thinking about, or
We got
anyone in
Imogen
this game?
Barnett. Imogen Barnett up
Also,
there, I like as that ruck that we can pick as a forward in game day squad. So I like the
mhm.
look of Barnett as a potential option here. GOS is a good matchup as well, being either Grace Kosh or Eilish O'Dowd as the ruck. So I think Barnett is a pretty good option. Tani Evans, I think, had a good score, but we'd obviously all much rather her being that defender. So probably not sure about
100%.
her this week, but then again,
Mhm.
Collingwood could be a good matchup. But Goldsworthy, good option, along with probably Barnett's probably the two I'm looking at from this one.
Yeah, beautiful. The next game coming through is Gold Coast Sydney. So Rowbottom was obviously a bit underwhelming for the first game, not her monster self that we've seen. I was listening to, what was it, the Free Kick podcast, I think, the AFLW official one, and they were talking about how, it could be the rule changes that are affecting her actual game style, which I think is a great point. Do you think we can drop her until she kind of adjusts, or is she still a must, like one of those must start midfielders for you?
It's very, very interesting, right? Because I was saying before, I don't quite want to react to one game, right? But at the same time, it's like, well, if you want to make up ground and score points and win comps, you've got to make some calls and maybe
Mhm.
miss some plays that you want to take a chance on. And we saw Rowbottom last week, obviously a low score. If you look at it, she did give away, I think, a number of free kicks again. So gave away 4 free kicks, but yeah, just the 6 tackles, 25 touches. I think I'd back her in for one more week. Give her
Yeah,
another run. Sydney's not a bad matchup, I don't think. I'd probably just see, but if they're a good midfielders, right? So you could drop her, but you're not dropping her to anyone that's too bad, right? Might be a Georgie
yeah,
Pasparkas, it could be a Britt Benici, as we just mentioned. It could be a Maddie Prespuds, it could be host of midfield options. Ella Roberts, who was great last week. So it could be one of those options, right? But yeah, she's probably still very much in the mix for me. Probably not a lock in terms of those top midfielders at the moment.
yeah. No, agreed. Um, I think I'm gonna still play her, but
Yeah.
it's tricky. I've got that prize card of hers, so I'll definitely be playing that one. But just in my other comps, I'm not 100% sure, but I reckon she'll be there by Saturday. In terms of Sydney, obviously we've again talked about Mullaway. I think she's a must start, mainly because everyone else will be starting her, so it's low risk.
Yeah.
She'll be in everyone's side. If she goes bad, everyone goes bad. If she goes good, you don't want to miss it. Um, what about Ham?
Yeah,
Thought,
really impressed with Montana Ham. Good score. I think she went over 80, I believe. And she played fairly low game time as well. She got stuck on the bench a couple of times and was still able to put up a pretty good score. So I think that her game time will increase and her scoring will still be pretty solid. So I was pretty impressed with her, and I think that she'll be someone that I'll be definitely starting in my forward line, at
yeah,
least until I see otherwise.
nice. And anyone else in this game that we're thinking? Obviously, Gardner,
Yeah,
potentially.
Gardner's still in there for me. Like she had a lower score, but I think that the transition mids like Gardner and Riddell and midfields like that will still benefit from the rule change. And I think she had a very good first quarter, a very good last quarter, but a second and third quarter were quiet. So I'm sure that she's not going to be quiet for 2 quarters like that again. I think she'll go well. Gold Coast, we saw Elle Roberts did last week, right? We saw what Wrench
Hmm.
did. We saw these midfielders can score well against Gold Coast. So I think she'll go well. And then obviously you got on the screen to Havana Harris, another dynasty asset you
Yeah,
probably want to target in your club because she looked very good. And I imagine that at some point in the future she'll be their number one ruck and playing pretty well.
yeah.
So yeah, I'd be targeting
But
her.
with the new rule changes, though, do you think that being the number one ruck is actually a downside? Like, should we be looking at these rucks that aren't going to be playing in the ruck, if that makes
But
sense?
yeah, potentially. I think that the rucks are. I think for the time being, I think it's just Mimstrom's locked there, and I think the other one's probably still Lucy Well. I think she still had a pretty solid day in the end compared
Yeah,
to Ruck. I think they're probably just the two I'm probably playing. I'm probably set and forget almost. I'm probably not really looking to change my Rucks too much unless there's a
yep,
really really juicy matchup that I want to target.
yep. No, fair enough. Now, next up, we have, well, funny that top point we just covered, which maybe isn't the case, but we've got Fremantle Brisbane. My first point is Strom not a clear R1 anymore, but I think that was more just when I was hyped up about the ruck changes and scoring, and it kind of feels like all the rucks are kind of being brought down to a similar level. Like she'll be consistent, but she won't be like leagues ahead, is what I'm thinking there.
Hmm.
Um, the other one that I was worried about, I guess, is Stennett. She a lot of red flags for me. Not a lot of midfield minutes. Did a few good things, but nothing that will get us game day squad points. So I'm probably going to fade her this week. What about you?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, Stannett's a fade until we see some sort of role shift. The role wasn't great. 2 goals for about a 50. Like, you're not taking
Yeah.
that. Like, if you're getting a couple of goals, you're wanting a 60, 70, 80 sort of score. And we thought that the floor would be there with some midfield time, some tackles, but just not there. So I think that she is probably a fade for me. I think I still probably have Strom as the clear R1. Just I
Yep.
think she's got the ability to rack up like a midfielder, which is probably why she'll, I think, still score well enough. Whether she can get to the same level she did last year is another question, because she was so far ahead because of all the hitouts and then the stuff she did around the ground. Whereas the hitouts, I don't know, will necessarily be there in terms of like the 30, 40, 50 number that she would have sometimes. So I think that I'm still playing her, but yeah, the scoring was clearly down. But the one that you got on the screen there, Kiara Bowers,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if anyone was worried about her, and I was certainly worried at the start of the second quarter, she's going along okay, not really scoring much, but then pretty much midway through the second quarter, she went bang, and she just as if she
Yeah.
never left. So she's a lock, I think, every week.
Yeah. Do you think she's like just managing her like game time or game effort at this stage still, or do you think it's just because I noticed that in the preseason game as well, she kind of started off quite slow, and then second half she monstered it. Do you think just the first couple of games she's easing in, and then next week or next few weeks she'll start just going 100% the whole game, and then just go those big 160 scores?
I feel like Bowser's like Marinoff, where there's no real easing off. It's just full of the gate, like bull of the gate out of and just really racking up from minute one. So
Yeah.
maybe the preseason game she probably wasn't. She was probably just trying to get the field back again after missing a full season. But I think she had that first score on the weekend where it wasn't huge, but then after that just went big. So I think that we're sort of back to normal scheduling when it comes to Kiara Bowers going well. What was your thoughts on Bree Conan? Because she had some midfield time, scored
Yeah.
okay, not too bad, but obviously would have loved a bigger score. But it was against Hawthorn, so a bit of a tricky one.
Yeah, that's so. I was kind of expecting more, I guess, but that might have been a bit harsh considering the circumstances. I think I'll still give her another chance. So, well, I guess she's competing against other defenders for my spots, so it's not as hard to keep that spot for me. But she's definitely one that I'll be watching for the next couple of weeks to make sure that she's not you know going underperforming basically.
Yeah, exactly. I think Brisbane actually just played genuinely not very good. I think they were one of their worst games I've seen them for a while. So if she's still scoring pretty well there and she keeps that sort of midfieldish role, I think that she can put up some better scores and be sort of in that mix for maybe one of your defender spots.
Yeah, yeah, I think maybe it's probably a matchup one for me.
Yep.
So next up,
So Jade Ellinger was the other one that I'm
oh
I'm
yeah,
pretty
sorry,
keen on from Brisbane as well.
nice. And what did you think of her last week?
Oh, yeah, good. Yeah, good. Really sort of, I believe she was Brisbane's top scoring player, if I'm not mistaken, last week. So, looked really good. Pretty good role as well. And I think that she was already in the mix, right? So I think she's just sort of reaffirmed that. So I'm just getting up her score. Yeah, 92. So yeah, top scoring there. So yeah, I think she's another good option as well moving forward.
Mm-hmm. All right, so moving on to Hawthorn Carlton. I think Lucas Rod's just kind of cemented themselves as you know D1 probably for me.
Yep.
I think they just bring consistency. You know what you're going to get with them. Um, I mean, I don't think many people are questioning that, but yeah. The other people, though, there were a few interesting things. So obviously, we talked about Wales. Still think she's going to be my R2 for at least the next few weeks. But Moody, well, not Moody. What's her name now?
Oh, Bree Harrington. Bree Harrington.
Harrington. That's it. Yeah, yeah. I didn't mind her.
Yeah, I think the only thing that if she was listed as a forward in game day squad, I'd be a bit more keen. But being a ruck, It just the fact that if Jess Good, if something were to happen, we're not obviously wishing injuries, but if something were to happen to Jess Good, then all of a sudden, I think there's a conversation there to be had. I just think as a forward though, probably I think that there's just more upside in those rucks still in like a Wales, Strom, rucks like that. Whereas I think Bree Moody's still capped. Oh, sorry, Bree Harrington. I keep getting mixed up because I see it on the screen. Just with that forward time, if she was a forward, be a little bit different. But I think as a ruck, I'm probably just fading at the moment in GameDay squad.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. And Hill as well for Carlton.
Very impressive.
Very impressive. But was it a consistent thing, do you think? Or like, can it be a consistent thing?
I think it can. I think that she's certainly one that has put up numbers in the past and can keep getting these scores. And funny enough, you got the diamond up there. I've got a diamond Mimi Hill. I just played in champion just to sort of all the good cards I had, just put them in champion. I don't have a very good champion squad. I've just got some players that are okay, but Mimi Hill was one of the ones I had there, and I was pretty happy with her score, and probably a reason why I finished top 20 champion. Whereas I don't see me finishing top 20 very much in the season unless I can nab myself some diamonds and better platinums and stuff. So, but yeah, no, good score from her, and I think she's someone that in a matchup, maybe not this week against Hawthorn, but in a better matchup, certainly could be someone that could be in a mix.
Yeah, I guess you have to consider who you're taking out for her, which is the tricky part.
Yeah, exactly.
So next up, Richmond versus Bulldogs. Now, Conti was, a gun that we knew she was, but
did you see her time on ground?
No.
Played 100% time on ground. Didn't come off.
Yeah, wow.
So if that's going to happen, if that's going to be happening moving forward, then that's something to definitely keep an eye on. We know how good she is, right? But she's probably always been that player that's been a better impact player than fantasy, but still been a solid fantasy player, right? But her level of playing is probably up there with like Garner and Marinoff and that, whereas she's playing 100% TOG every week. It's going to raise her floor of a lot higher. She might get tagged, but against the Dogs this week, I think she's I'm definitely going to be very strongly considering picking her, and she probably will be in my side. So she's someone that if I don't pick row bottom, I still got to go through my squad. But Conti's someone I'm very, very keen to start this week.
Yeah, I've got a all-star card of hers, which I'm probably going to run alongside my prize card this week. I just like the matchup. I like what I saw. Yeah. Now, from the Bulldogs, Georgia's status, I always struggle saying that.
Mate, you did better than the commentator in the Pracky game. He struggled a fair bit with trying to pronounce it. So
yeah. Now I started her last week, thankfully, and she just looked very good. Like, was it 2 seasons ago? She was a solid option, one of a regular starter.
Yeah.
So she looked like she was getting back to that, which was nice.
Yeah, her score surprised me. I was looking at Shelley Heath, which is very disappointing that she's a midfielder in GameDay squad, because if she was a defender, she'd be someone we're definitely going to be talking about. But as a mid, maybe not as much. But so it sort of looked at the score and it sort of snuck up on me. I'm like, Georgia Stats put up a good score. And of course, I didn't have her in my squad last week. So she'll be someone that I'll be definitely looking at putting into my squad this week, because she certainly looked back to, as you say, her 2023 form. So someone to look at.
No, nice. Anyone else in this game that you're kind of looking at?
Well, Alice Edmonds was impressive. Someone to, I guess, keep an eye on. I don't know if it's enough yet to put her back in. She was obviously one of the top rucks a couple of years ago, but something I'll be watching this week. And if she puts up another good score, I think that will certainly put her into the conversation.
Yeah, no, agreed. All right. Next up, North versus Port. Now, I don't know how much we really have to talk about that North midfield, because if you have him, I reckon you should be starting him.
Garner lock, Riddell lock. Yep.
Yeah. What about O'Loughlin, though?
Yeah, a little bit quiet. Probably gave a few free kicks away. Didn't really have too much impact in terms of fall of the ball. I think she'll be fine. I think Port, again, will be a good matchup for Alice O'Loughlin. So I don't think I'm too concerned. Is there a concern from you, or do you just think that they did ease her back a little bit and she'll be fine?
Well, yeah, I think maybe she was eased back, and you're right, the matchup's really good, but then for North, the matchup's probably good against anyone.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering whether it's one that I give one more week to, and then maybe just watch.
Yeah, yeah. The one that I'm keen on though, another forward, but for Port though, is Ash Woodland. I'm pretty keen
Yeah.
on starting her with Piper Window out. I think there might be a little bit more midfield time, which we saw a little bit on the weekend anyway. But she looked pretty good, and I think that she'll be a very good option for our forward line. So she's someone I didn't start last week, but I'll certainly be starting this week, even though it is a tough matchup against North Melbourne. So you could fade if you did want to.
Yeah. What about heads?
Yeah, I didn't get to see a huge amount of this game, so I didn't really sort of keep an eye on what Ella Head's role is. So I don't know if you watched this game. Did you sort of see a bit more
No,
of that role?
I
Because
didn't see it. I was just following the score, and it was not
had a
going up,
donut,
which was worrying. Yeah.
donut in the first quarter. So maybe she's not a start this week against North Melbourne, but I guess something to be watching at least in the next couple of weeks.
Now, here we go. Essendon and West Coast. Too good. I had worries about her, but now after talking to you already, I probably just those worries are all gone. But is it someone who you could fade and get ahead this week? She's. Do you think that there is any concern with HIA or?
Yeah, no, not too many concerns to me. She passed HI, she came back on. I think she'll be fine. West Coast is I think, a pretty good matchup. We saw what Havana Harris did last week to West Coast, right? And I think Bonnie Too Good plays in a similar way that can get up the ground a bit more. And I think when she gets a bit more confident, because the thing is, as well, that last week would have probably the confidence would have been shot a little bit just with like another sort of little niggle there. And obviously last year had a couple of injuries. So I just think that the more she plays, the more confident she'll get and the better she'll be. So I think that Bonnie Too Good will be fine there. But I
Yeah.
know it's not listed on your the notes here, but tell you what, one player that I don't know if we can go without. How good was Ella Roberts last week?
Yeah, so good. And who does she come in for though?
That's what I
Like,
mean. No,
did you
that's
start her?
no. Again, the champion one. I had a platinum Ella Roberts and chucked it in there. So that's probably why I did quite well. A
Yeah.
couple of players that not many people would have had went quite well. She was so good. Like just the whole she had I think she had like 70 points, 75 points in the first quarter in GDS last week. So just ridiculous, and was scoring points on one leg when she was cramping in the last quarter. So yeah, it's tricky, right? Because you got Marinoff, Riddell, Garner, and then probably Bowers are probably the four that are locked. And
Yeah.
then you've got two more spots. And we've talked about how good of a matchup that Conti's got and how good a matchup that Gardner's got. It's like, where
Yeah.
does Ella Roberts fit, right? It's so hard with those mids that because a few of them are locks that you just can't fit Ella Roberts in. So I think that you can definitely play Ella Roberts this week, but she probably might not be there again for me this week because of the amount of players I'll be in the midfield I'll already be having in the squad.
Yeah, no, I agree. Is it a week where you can maybe drop someone like a Marinoff? Is that stupid?
Yeah, I think after one round, I think it probably is, but the scores are lower. So, but I just think even the scores are lower, right? I think Marinoff will be fine
Yeah.
when we get to the Crows game. Obviously, seeing a few of the ins the Crows have got, there's some good ins for them, so I think it'll make the Crows stronger. But I know Mel put in a comment there saying that the Crows appeared to struggle last week. Not sure if that was because of the matchup or whether they're just a bit cooked. So, yeah, it'd be interesting to see how they go in terms of moving forward. Mel also said we skipped Melbourne and St Kilda. So, do you have that one coming up, or is that slide not there for us?
No, it should be coming. Oh, we'll get to the end. If not, I'll go back. But
All good.
yeah. So Geelong and Adelaide. Again,
Yeah.
Marinoff not miles ahead, but still probably the best. So I put that in there because I think you can probably win without her. Whereas previous years, I don't think you could have won without her.
Yeah. I still think I think she'll still be I think that could even be like one of her lowest scores of the year, right? I want to see it again. I want to see if there's another sort of 120, 125, then I'll be like, okay, she's right amongst the Garners and Riddells at the top, but not like 20 points better. But I still think that she'll be fine. But her lowest score last year did come, funny enough, against Geelong in the last game last year. So we'll have to see how she goes.
Yeah. And then I've got Maloney there as well as maybe a bit of concern, probably similar to the O'Loughlin, like similar scores. Just, I still
Especially
think you
tough
probably
matchup.
have to start her. Yeah.
Yeah, just tough matchup against North Melbourne. So I think she'll again Adelaide tough matchup again, but I think she'll be fine moving forward. Has Georgie Prasparkas done enough to force her way into the midfield? Because she had a quiet start in the first quarter. I think she would have been on 15 or so points, but after that, just went absolutely bang and put up a big score.
Yeah, I started her last week, so I'll probably start her again. I think she's one that I think is going to be top like top 4 or 5 this year.
Yep.
5, not 4 or 5, but yeah. Oh no, maybe we did miss it.
Yep. Do you skip by it or is it just no
I
slide?
definitely
Maybe.
made a slide for it. There we go.
There we go. It must be. It was at the very beginning. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe it might have double skipped or something. So technical difficulties. But apologies, everyone. But we'll chat about it now.
Yeah, thanks, Mel. Yeah, so Melbourne, St Kilda. I really, I, I don't know about Hoare. Like, I don't think I can start her this year. Like, if she was a forward, yeah, give her the run. But in a midfield, I can't do it.
Yeah, not at the moment. She's had bone bruising and that in the preseason, working her way back. At least at the moment, we can't start her. But again, like she's got the ceiling, but probably not consistent enough like the Garner and Riddell and Marinoff. So I'm probably just not at the moment. And I do wish she was a forward, as you say, because if she was a forward, we'd lock her in every week. She'd be there, and we'd probably be a little bit more settled with our forward line, whereas I feel like we're changing it pretty much week to week.
Yep, 100%. Anyone else from Melbourne or St Kilda that, like
Well,
Watson?
yeah,
Oh, sorry.
yeah, Shelley Heath is the one that in the midfield, but it's again, if she was a defender, we'd be all over it. But I think the mids we're just probably not going there. But she was impressive last week, which was good to see. Serene Watson, I'm still starting. She had a 0-point third quarter, I think it was, and still put up a mid 80 score in game day squad. So I'm still pretty confident with her. And then Jessie Wardlaw, maybe this is a week you could start a better matchup.
Yeah,
Certainly
I,
against Melbourne, we could look at.
I
So
still
in the
think she
mix for
scored all
me,
right last week, even in a. So yeah,
yeah,
I think she's probably going to be starting some of my sides, but again, it's changed so many times, and now we've got to wait till Saturday. It's going to change even more times than
yeah,
normal.
exactly. Yeah.
All right, so now I'll skip back ahead. Sorry about that, everyone.
I see a few people that are tuning in asking about where's my round 24 captains video. So anyone that is looking at that will be coming out either late tonight or tomorrow, just because of some late season other content for the men's stuff. So anyone's asked about that'll be later tonight or tomorrow. But there's no one from Essendon or Carlton tonight that is in the top 10. And here we go. Here's so talk
Here
to
we
us
go.
about your
Yeah.
squad.
So I don't know, basically. Midfield wise, I haven't changed anything, I don't think. Same midfield going in from last week. Same with Rucks. It was just the forward and the back line. I think I jumped on too many pre-season kind of, risks, and none of them paid off. So
Yeah.
Malloy and Goldsworthy both coming in. I think I've dropped Head as well. And
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
yeah, but yeah, apart from that, it's not too many changes. What about you? I know you haven't finalised your team, but what are you thinking so far?
Yeah, so like even just look at your team here, like my squad will be fairly sort of similar to what you've got there. Is that wait, hang on, am I reading that right? Is that Shelley Heath you got in defence?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
she's a
she's a
defender.
defender this year. Yeah, yeah.
I've been saying to think that she's a midfielder. I thought she's a midfielder in GameDay squad. Okay, well,
No,
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 she's a defender. If she's a defender, then we talked about Melbourne and St Kilda just before. No, start her, bring her in your squad
yeah.
because I swear, maybe I must have got mixed up with another player. I thought she was a mid, but maybe it was just last year. But no, as a defender, Shelley Heath, I think based on the role, I think that
Hmm.
she's a start for moving forward. So yep, scrap what I said in the Melbourne St Kilda game. Don't listen to that. But yeah, so my defense again will be fairly similar to that there. Midfield,
Hmm.
I'll probably have maybe this stage I might have Conti over Georgie Prasparkas. George Patrikios, Georgie
Yeah.
Prasparkas, I get mixed up when I'm talking about the two. I'll probably have Conti in there this week with the matchup and probably Gardner over Rowbottom, I think. But that's
Yep.
probably the only two changes there in the mids. Rucks will be the same. And forwards will be fairly similar as well, I would probably say as well. So, yeah, but as I
Yeah.
said, haven't finalised my squad yet. But hopefully next 24 hours, that'll be all sort of ready to go.
Beautiful. Well, that about wraps us up. So, is there any pieces of advice you want to offer or any shout outs?
Probably just a bit of advice is probably don't overreact too much for one score. Obviously, there were some lower scores, some big scores, some good matchups for others, and bad matchups. So probably just what you did in preseason, the research, probably just don't throw it all away in terms of if a player complete role change, maybe a bit like an Ange Stanner. I think we can read a little bit
Hmm.
more into that, but maybe someone like a Rowbottom, maybe it's a Gardner you thought was going to go bigger. Maybe just probably think that was a bit of a quieter matchup. Like even like Ash Riddell, for example, had a lower score compared to what we've seen, but she got a bit of a stoppage sort of, not, I wouldn't say tag, but Caitlin Thorne was certainly paying a lot of its close attention at stoppage to Ash Riddell, which I thought was interesting that Jazz Garner, the best player in the comp, pretty much is standing there and no one's paying her any attention, but Ash Riddell's getting all the attention because Ash Riddell's
Yeah.
great, but Garner's so damaging at
Yeah.
stoppages
Game
particularly.
breaking. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I'll just say just probably don't, maybe after this week when we got 2 games of data, we can make probably a bit more of a read of how players are scoring. But I think for week 2, sort of maybe just with some scores and just don't probably overreact or with some of the scores. I'd probably say is the big one. And yeah, you can follow Bales DT across socials at AFL Fantasy Fans on X. And yeah, where can they find you across the socials, Mark?
GameDay Society. So Instagram, X, all those things. I've got some TikToks out now, which is exciting.
Yep, beautiful.
Yeah. And have you got your code as well for the shout out?
Yeah, Bales DT. If you haven't signed up to Game Day Squad yet, obviously if you haven't played yet, gamedaysquad.com.au. So head over, use code Bales DT, and you can get some free packs when you sign up for whatever sport you're looking at. If it's AFLW, if it's EPL, which started last week as well, which is good fun. If it's the AFL or NRL, that's the finals. We'll have that finals comp on Game Day Squad from what we're hearing as well, and or for next year. So yeah, make sure you go and use it and free to play. That's the best thing about Game Day Squad, right? Free to play and it's all good fun.
Exactly right. Beautiful. Well, thank you very much for that. Best of luck with all your selections, and hopefully it all goes well. And we can talk again next week about all our success.
Beautiful. Thanks, guys.
All right. Thanks, everyone.